Hi, my name is Vicki Herbster, and this is my presentation for Lesson Plan Unlocking Cells, which is a biology lesson for 9th and 10th grade. I am in class Utilization of Technology at Fort Hays State University, section AEP800. This lesson is a lesson that one that I very much enjoy, and it's about describing the relationship between the structure and function of the cellular and subcellular levels, which are basically the cell organelles and their functions, and their ability, the functions help an organism maintain its homeostasis. The Kansas State standards that are addressed here are summarized by the student understanding this cell, molecular basis, heredity, biological evolution, interdependent of organisms, matter, energy, and reorganization in living systems, and the behavior of organisms. It also meets the NET standards, most of them, because of the variation in the creation of the project and gathering information using their website, so it meets many of those standards as well. The instructional objectives that will be met in this unit are that the student will be able to name, identify, and describe the organelles of a cell, plant, or animal. By gathering information, they will use many of the 21st century skills that we are encouraging them to have, using technology to gather information and to complete online documents and to use online documents to gather information. They will complete designated organelle checklist to 80% accuracy. The student will also be able to relate the overall design of the cell and its organelles through completion of an analogy, which will be designed or presented through digital media. Their choice can be either brochure, poster, graphic organizer, movie, podcast, or keynote, all of which would be available either through a Web 2.0 application or through our online or through our software that is loaded onto the hard drives of each computer. The focus of this activity is not the media, but rather the information that's put into the media. It uses many brain-based activities which are designed for understanding and retention. Teacher preparation for this activity involves gathering computers, bookmarking appropriate websites, creation of a PowerPoint presentation that needs to be posted to our class website. I've created an organelle checklist that the students will need to follow to check off the location of the organelles, their function, and whether they're present in plants, animals, and bacteria. A rubric has been designed to grade this activity or to evaluate it. Virtual lab materials will need to be gathered, the CD, the checklist, and those will need to be distributed as well to the students. And following the initial student activities, there will be a discussion on the cell and its organelles, so preparation for that will need to be made as well. All of these activities are linked within this presentation as well. Student action that will need to be taken during this activity are to use the computers and the appropriate resources designed to gather the information listed here. Cells Alive website, our class website, which contains the PowerPoint presentations, the online text, and the virtual lab CDs. They will also be conducting cooperative learning appointments to collaborate. They will participate in classroom discussions, and then they will focus on the analogy and the design of that analogy. Adaptations and modifications are easily made with this lesson depending on the nature of the learning disability. Students may work with a designated buddy on the web resources. They may recite to their para verbally the functions, or they may be written down as well. The student may either verbally relate their analogy or create a cell model through the use of craft materials, or they can use the online designated software. Just depends upon their severity. Gifted students must take it further. They must use additional web resources to create a 3D model, or use other assistive technologies in the forms of Web 2.0 applications to enhance this activity. They can also take the foundations of the biology even further, and further defining the organelles. This lesson may also be adapted for lower grade levels, middle school, upper elementary, by lessening the number of organelles, or maybe just analyzing or analogizing the cell with another type of function or structure or function, like a town or a factory. This lesson will be assessed through the use of the organelle checklist. It will be graded for completion and accuracy, and a rubric, which is available on the website or on this presentation as well. It will be used to measure whether each organelle was represented in both the cell and in the analogy. Was the organelle correctly analogized? Was the digital media used appropriately and effectively? Was the project creative? Was it attractive? Was a legend available so that I know what was being, if the analogy was being correctly made between the organelle and its appropriate structure in whatever the model is that they are using. So the student instructions are as are listed here on the websites. Students must come to class prepared. That is their expectation for every class, and they need to be prepared by having looked at the PowerPoint ahead of time, which just lessens the amount of class time that we have to spend in lecturing, and we have the opportunity to do more hands-on activities and to have more discussion, which makes it much more fun and enlightening for both the students and I. I also ask that the students make 2 appointments when they come to this class for this lesson with fellow classmates to discuss their cell checklists once they have been completed. The cell checklists will be reviewed and questions asked. Students will use the websites Cells Alive and my.hrw.com for the virtual lab, as well as the additional websites that have been included. Students will then meet with their appointments as they go over their checklists with their fellow classmates as they collaborate on them. Students will then participate in our classroom discussion over the cell organelles and their functions in homeostasis of the cell and the organism. This is just to ensure that all of the students have clearly defined what those organelles are so that they are prepared to complete their analogies. We will then discuss the cell analogy project, and also the rubric will be handed out to the students. They will know exactly what their expectations are and what their assessments will be based upon. Students will then use the computers and begin work on their cell analogy project. To summarize, the information that's gathered through this lesson in the unique 21st century based ways, the brain-based information gathering processes that are being used in this will help them to understand those organelles. It will help them to understand a clear understanding of the function of the organelles and its their basis in maintaining the cell, which is the unit of all life. This helps them to envision the cell as a working living entity and provides a foundation for all of our future units: the cell membrane movement, DNA and protein synthesis, cell division, heredity, and physiology, all very key to our future in biology. References for this lesson plan are listed here: the Holt-McDougall online textbook at my.hrw.com and the cellsalive.com website, which is used often in our classroom. Very extensive, very great biology website. Thank you for listening to this and to paying attention to this lesson plan. Thanks.